What's up, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, the Lazy Girl World, and I am back today doing not really a spoil. That's a lie. I'm probably gonna spoil it, but Spies in Disguise with Will Smith and with Tom Holland and with Reba McEntire. I think that's her last name, Reba McEntire. Doesn't really matter. So it took me a while to get to this movie just because I think it may have come out before the theaters closed down. I'm not really too sure. But either way, I just didn't really get around to it. And then when it came out for rental, I was just like, I really don't want to waste my time watching a cartoon at this point in time. But I decided to go ahead, pull the trigger on it, see what it was about. And I am just like, I'm sad that I didn't watch it sooner because it was hilarious. I found myself laughing a lot of times. So the movie starts off with Will Smith's character, Lance Sterling. He's like on a secret spy mission. He's trying to get the Annihilator. I think that's what it's called, the Annihilator. So he's there like spying on this Yakuza boss, Kimura. And turns out Yakuza boss Kimura is meeting up with this other dude that's going to buy the Annihilator weapon. And so other dude has a robo hand. So Lance Sterling ends up fighting everybody. The guy with the robo hand gets away with the Annihilator in the case. And so then Lance does his whole like fight sequence. Well, first he tries to throw what he thinks is a grenade, and turns out it's just like a glitter bomb that shows cats. So everybody's just like, aww, because there's a part in the movie that says cats and glitter release serotonin in the brain, so it just makes them super happy and just super chill. And then so that's when Lance makes his getaway. He like flies up in the sky, goes like literally through the building. He flies through a helicopter, grabs the case, and then makes it down safely, and then makes it back to Spy Base. I don't know what it was called. I'm just calling it Spy Base. So he goes in there. He's saying, hey, what's up to everybody. He has the case. Then he makes his way to Tom Holland's character, Walter, because he's like, why in the world did you touch my suit? If I wanted some glitter, I would have asked for the glitter. I reached in my pocket expecting a grenade so I could blow some Yakuza up, and I'm over here throwing out glitter bombs. And then, so, Tom Holland's like, I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah. And he fires him. He's like, you're fired. And then, so Walter's like, oh no, please, I can help you do better, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, no. So then, obviously, Walter goes home. And then, Will Smith's character, Lance, goes in there. He's talking to his boss. He's like, oh yeah, here's the case. I was beating up bad guys, blah, blah, blah. His boss opens the case. So his boss is Joy. He calls her Joy, but actually it's Joy Less, and that's Reba's character. So his boss is like, are you kidding me? There's absolutely nothing in here. And yeah, there wasn't anything in there. Annihilator was gone. He came through, got that case when he flew in the little helicopter, but he grabbed an empty case. So then 3 people bust in there, Marcy, ears, eyes, and they're like, we need to catch Lance. He is obviously stolen this for himself. They don't really say why, but they feel like he's stolen it from himself because they had a video and they say, we just saw him like 2 hours before he got here using the Annihilator on somebody. And so they're like, it's you did it, you. And so obviously he has to make his way. He has to run out of the spy agency, and he's on the run. And then he's like, I need to disappear. So that he can figure out, how to get to Kamar and figure out what's going on with his face being used. Because he's like, there was a guy with robo hands that scanned my face, and they were like, that sounds like something out of a Scooby-Doo mystery. We don't believe you. Shut up. And so he says, I need to disappear. And then so he goes to Walter's house. Even though he fired him, he goes to Walter's house because he remembers Walter saying like, you can disappear. And he's like, why are you saying it like that? For special effect. So he decides to go to Walter's house, and he's like, I need you to help me disappear. And Walter's in there trying to make his like little disappear formula, and we see him, he figures it out actually. So he takes a feather from his little pet pigeon, pours some of the disappear formula on it, it disappears. But it makes like basically a super clear liquid. But you no longer see the feather. And when Lance busts through the door, he's holding that cup, and he's like, I need to disappear. And he's like, oh, hey, Lance, how are you? Just in here making my formula, hoping I can, get my job back. Can I get you something to drink? And, Lance is like holding him by the shirt. And he's like, he takes the cup out of Walter's hand, drinks it. He's like, there's the drink. Now, help me disappear. And Walter's like, well, you kind of just drank the formula. And then, obviously, he gets super nerdy and super excited because he's like, we're about to see how this formula works. And within a minute, Will Smith turns into a pigeon. And then just the craziest sequence that you can ever imagine. Obviously, it's a cartoon, so I can't really explain all of it to you. So they find Kimura. They're trying to get him to tell them who Robo Hand is, and it's just Walter and the pigeon, Lance, or the pigeon is Lance. Lance ends up and Walter's pet pigeon Lovey, and so those three are just going through. They go to Mexico to find Kimura, and then they end up meeting up with two other pigeons that were like trying to bond and make a flock with Lance in his pigeon form. And so then they go to Mexico, and then they go somewhere else that I cannot remember at this point in time. But the whole time they're like trying to dodge the agency because they just know in the bottom of their hearts, like, no, Lance, you did this. And then they end up going to Venice because they realize that's where Robo Hand is going, because Robo Hand is mad at Sterling, at Lance Sterling. Because first of all, Lance Sterling doesn't remember him, even though he should. And for a reason we learn later, Robo Hand was a bad guy. He was a bad guy. But Lance like threw a grenade or whatever, blew up all of his people. But he was the only one that survived, so he's walking around looking like Terminator. But he hides that part of himself. He literally had a robot ear, but whatever. And so goes to Venice because he's there at the CIA. I don't know if it's CIA, but like the spy agency weapons thing, and he's trying to get all the agents in the database, so then that way he can target all the agents and he gets his revenge. So they go to Venice. They don't get Robo Hand does get the database, okay, but Walter's like, don't worry, I'll put a tracker on it. And then they travel to like the secret weapons facility, I believe it was, where Robo Hand has now gone. And at this point in time, Will Smith, I keep calling him Will Smith, but Lance gets turned back into a human because Walter finally figured it out, because they realized he was a girl bird and not a boy bird. So they had to make the formula with another of Lovey's feathers and not with Lance's feather. So yeah. So then they go there and they're trying to fight Robo Hand, stop him, and they do. They actually do stop him, but they stop him in the way that Walter wants, because Walter's like, you can't fight violence with violence, and Lance is like, shut up, boy, you have to fight fire with fire. And he's like, no, that's not the way it should be. We can do it a better way. We can do it my way. So they decide to do it his way. So Lance ends up getting like taken up Walter ends up getting taken super high up in the sky with Robo Hand, and he's trying to like deactivate his little hand, and Robo Hand's like, if you deactivate my hand right now, yeah, you'll save all those agents, but you'll kill me and you'll kill you. And he's like, that's not true. And he puts a little button on Robo Hand, and excuse me, turns out the little button wraps him up in like inflatable hug. So that way when he falls back to the sky, even though it's kind of impossible, but if he falls back down to the water, he is safe, even though his hand's sticking out, so he can't control it or whatever. And then Walter ends up getting saved because Will Smith turns back into a bird to save him, and then him and a whole bunch of other pigeons fly Walter to safety. So then at the end you're like, oh, this is amazing, this is great, they're gonna get their jobs back. No, Lance Sterling gets double fired Walter gets triple fired because he actually got fired again by by Lance. But so now he's like triple fired. But then at the end, so they're like sitting on the front stoop. Will Smith's there in his normal human form, but he has like a baby hand because his little hand didn't come back. It looked like something off a scary movie, like, well, take my strong hand. It was like super baby hand. And then, so then they're sitting there on the steps and they're talking to each other. Black bag is thrown over the head, thrown in the back of a van. Marcy's sitting right there. Turns out Joyless is like, yeah, you're fired from this part of the agency essentially, but we want you, Walter, to head up a new part of the agency, one where, you know, you don't go in blowing up people. We realize you're doing it the right way. And so then we see them like basically going into a bad guy's lair and, you know, beating them with like birds and glitter. And that's the end of the movie. So this was, obviously you have to watch a lot. I left out a lot of details because I can't remember all of those. It's a cartoon. What do you expect from me? Did I literally just get done watching it? Yes. Did I take any notes? No. I can't remember all of that. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. So really, you just have to watch it. If you get it, if you rent it on Amazon, it's only $3.99. So, you know, go ahead, spend that $4, rent that movie. Will Smith was great. He is a great voice actor. I feel like he should do more voice acting. The animation was great. I feel like they should have made like his character's facial expressions, Will Smith's facial expressions on the character, like more to match the voice. Because you can tell he was making like a ton of faces, but it didn't really come through on the character itself. So it kind of took away some of the believability, if that really even makes a difference. For me, obviously a child will enjoy it, and I feel like if you're sitting next to your kid, they're watching it, you'll enjoy it as well. Tom Holland, great. As always, I feel like they had his face do a little bit more, so, or maybe he just, I don't know. Tom Holland was great. Reba, great. Sheeta Jones was Marcy. She was great. DJ Khaled was Ears. He was great. I didn't even know he did voice work, so that was exciting. Yeah, so I think out of all the cartoon movies I've ever seen, it's up there. It's top. I'll give it like, I'll put it in my top 10 cartoon movies, like, or animated movies for sure. So hopefully you guys liked my review of it, and or just my thoughts on it. I guess it's not technically a review. It's more of like, this is what I just watched and these are my thoughts. And hopefully you watch it, because like I said, it's a good movie. It's only $3.99 to rent, so it's not gonna, you're not going to go broke, and you don't have to shell out money for the whole movie, even though I do feel like it is worth purchasing. So go ahead and purchase it. Storyline was great. There was continuity throughout. It was amazing. It's like an hour 45 minutes long. I don't regret sitting there at all. So if there's another cartoon movie that you guys would like me to watch and actually review, give my thoughts on, give a spoiler to, that way you can see like, do I want to watch it? Do I want my kids to watch it? Whatever. Just leave it down in the comments below. Once again, I'm the Lazy Girl World. Thanks for watching my video. Goodbye.